I feel lately, after years of awakenings and opening and much reconditioning of my system after trauma, now I'm finding the remaining sense of self has a strong death wish and depression. I know this is not my true nature, but can you offer anything in this area? Yeah. You look so young to have been doing years and years of it. Maybe that's not your true picture. So to me, the feeling of the death wish comes from the solar plexus. So thoughts aren't just solar things that happen in the imagination, they're a bodily experience. So the feelings and the thoughts are interconnected. So to me, the thoughts appear, and who knows what's first, but it's part of the solar plexus going into its negative. And who knows if it's the thoughts that make the solar plexus or the solar plexus that creates the thoughts. It's kind of irrelevant. The solar plexus is, in its positive, it's a sense of I can do it, I can succeed, I can thrive, I'm healthy, I have power, I have stamina, I know what I want, I can say what I want, I know how to do things. And in its negative, it's stuckness, hopelessness, helplessness, depression, sense of wanting to die, frustration, anger, stuckness, aloneness, existential angst. And it's a very powerful point. So sometimes in Chinese medicine, it's described as the center of the sense of self, particularly because it's about wants and desires. And when the solar plexus is out of balance, and you are in its negative, then that's where suicidal thoughts come from and dying comes from. And sometimes the death wish comes because it's not actually because you want to die, it's because it's actually giving you an option. So it's like you have a way out. It's like an imagination of a way out. And sometimes this can get really stimulated from years and years of spiritual practice, especially in non-duality. Like if you look at Eckhart Tolle, like his solar plexus was really like in its negative before he had this big shift and awakening. And the reason that might be is because it is true, life is meaningless and pointless. Like, it's really bonkers, like just like running around in circles, really. Not that that's a bad thing, but we every day we collect our food, we cook our food, we eat our food, we do it again and again and again and again and again, and it doesn't have a destination. It's not like at the end of this you're going to go to heaven or hell. It's like this endless play of no thing appearing as everything. But this is a joyful thing. It's not a negative thing. But sometimes it happens in spiritual seeking because you lose your faith in life. You lose your faith in anything in time making you happy. Like, so getting the boyfriend or girlfriend or having kids or buying a big house or having lots of money or being really successful, none of it stimulates you anymore. And that can be good because it can stop you reaching out so much into time, but it also can come with a sense of depression because your mind can't imagine hope and so therefore can't pull your solar plexus into the positive. It can't think, I'm going to make it when I do this or get to enlightenment or do that. So it can also come with spirituality. It can also be the most amazing thing if you were to see through that illusion now. That you're wanting to die, that your depression, that your frustration, that your discomfort, that none of it's true, it's an impersonal appearance happening and it's not true. The feelings aren't true. And that's so intense to see though, because when that veil comes, it feels so real and everything in life seems coloured by that. And then you could ask, well, who sees that? And it's even though it might seem like it's you seeing it, it's actually a movement, it's a disidentification. So if you listen to the story of the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, and Maya illusion presented heaven and hell. And what do you think hell was? Like, they describe it as war, but it also is depression, it's also hate, envy, frustration, suicidal thinking. Like, it's all these things. And the Buddha sat still. So when they say the Buddha, they actually mean Buddha nature. His name is actually Gautama. So when they say the Buddha sat still, so to me, what that means is that there was a recognition of something that never changes, that isn't depressed, that isn't suicidal, that isn't affected by this. So the Buddha sat still. So for 40 days and 40 nights, Maya presented illusion, the Buddha sat still, and then it was seen. Then the liberation happened, it was seen. So it's also this hell that's rising, it's seeing that it's not true, it's not your reality. There's practical things that you can also do to lift up the solar plexus as well. So first of all, it's seeing that it's not true, it's not real, and then it's speaking it out, like what it is the solar plexus is saying. You can also do movements, you can do exercises, you can do chakra breathing on it, like to get that energy out. And then it's moving to the positive. So what is it the solar plexus wants? And the solar plexus wants to be able to choose. It wants to feel like it has power over its environment, that it can choose, that it can create for its future. So you use all of this to pick the solar plexus into the positive, pick it up and pick it into the positive. What else is the positive of the solar plexus? It wants to feel like it can do something, that there is hope. So that's a practice that you can do. But the most important thing is seeing that it's not true, that it's not your truth, it's not who you are. It's an experience appearing in a freedom that's already there. So who are you? And then you can do these exercises to try and shift it out of that. Yeah. Thank you for your question. If you've got any more questions, please write away. Well, I think it all resonates. Yeah, you can watch it back. You can watch it back. And so there's two different parts. It's seeing that it's not true, and then you're using the wanting to try to transform it. Because sometimes it can be like that contraction can come before there's a big shift. So sometimes there can be like a strong contraction before a big shift. So it's just seeing that it's not true. And sometimes it's a habit that you've been telling yourself that your whole life, and it's something that you actually need to practically work on to try to shift.